Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Cooking with Unity. My name's Max Moreau, and with me is my tech, Philip Wilson.
Yep, as always.
All right. You said something different this time.
A little
Excellent.
bit different.
All
a
right.
little bit different.
So first of all, I started on this screen because I just wanted to say that I had Ludum Dare this weekend, had a great time, put an entry in, and you can see that my desktop was not this messy at the beginning of the weekend, so I'm actually just going to go ahead and clean it up and throw it in a folder like I usually do. Or maybe I'm not. Where's my cleanup folder? Did I put it somewhere else? I'm just going to create a new folder. Clean up. So I hope other people joined in Cooking with Unity. I know that a couple of people emailed me, not Cooking with Unity, joined the Ludum Dare competition. It was really fun. And check out my time lapse and project. It's you'll find it in some of my videos somewhere. Maybe I'll put something in the details. Also, Phil made a project too. You should check his out too.
Yep, it's called Missile Bombardment.
Yep, mine's called Like a Boss. So here we are. We are doing our first-person shooter. This is our second first-person shooter episode, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
And what we've got is we have a character that can move around. We have a little reticle, and we can shoot and make bullet holes in the wall. So we got. This really isn't a game yet, obviously, but
Well, it could be. I mean, you could just be shooting. The goal could be just to shoot as many holes in the wall as possible.
Yeah, or it could be bullet art.
Oh yeah, bullet art the game.
All right, so
like what I used to do in GoldenEye.
Yes, exactly.
I keep
Paintball
referencing
mode.
GoldenEye, but it's
It's
what
so
it
fun,
reminds me
and
of.
it is the first time you kind of. Well, I think part of the reason you do is because if you were a console gamer, GoldenEye was, I think, one of the first games to have decals for bullets.
Yes.
If you were a PC gamer, you would probably have referenced Duke 3D for that reason.
Or Rise of the Triad.
Or Rise of the Triad. Actually, that's a really good one. I forgot you're a Mac guy.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Rise of the Triad was cool.
Yeah, it really was. That was that a no, that wasn't a Bungie game. That was
No,
that's
was,
Pathways into Darkness.
I'm gonna actually look up and see what that was.
All right, you check that out. So today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a basic Doom style AI, just like walk at you, fire, walk type thing, and we're gonna set up a monster closet. So for those, monster closet is actually a surprisingly common term in the games industry, but I don't see it used much often just on the internet proper, so I just want to explain it. A monster closet is what you call any closet that something spawns out of. In the case of Doom, and we're going to do it Doom style first here, there was no concept of monster spawning except in the boss room.
Well, in Nightmare
and
mode.
in Nightmare mode, which just spawned
just randomly.
random monsters. What all the monsters actually were pre-populated in the level, and they would hide them behind walls and doors, which we're going to do that at first here. And that's, I think, where the term came from, just because it's a closet with monsters in it, and I guess monsters in your closet as a kid or something. I don't know.
Well, it's because it's a closet that opens up with monsters.
Yeah. So.
By the way, it was Apogee that made Rise of the Triad.
Thank you, Apogee. I forgot about Apogee Software. They had some good stuff. As a matter of fact, Apogee did.
I think they did.
They did Duke. Yeah. They did Duke.
Which is why Rise of the Triad
That
feels
makes
a
sense.
lot like
Yeah.
Duke Nukem.
Yeah. So it's probably Build Engine, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, we're old game geeks, both of us. We're just old people. Is really what's the situation.
No, we're not old yet. Not yet.
Okay, not yet. We're not old yet. All right.
No.
Well, hopefully we'll never be old. So, as you've probably noticed, I have this animation tab. We're probably going to play around with this today. I'm just going to leave it up here, but I'll show you how to put it on here. So I'm going to remove it right now. So let's start with a monster AI. Let's create a little monster first. Let's do a cube. Cubes can be terrifying, I'm sure. And why? Oh yeah, it did put it in right. I forgot we had angled this to prove that it was working right. So I'm going to make him 2 units tall so that he looks more like a man. And we're going to make him... Do you like red on your enemies? Like, do you like red in general, or?
I like to mess with people, so red's typically not an enemy color that I would choose.
All right, let's go with your style for right now. Let's make him green. Let's change it up. Let's make him a zombie or something. So
yeah, green is a zombie.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
So let's do let's create a new material. Green, and I guess I could have just duplicated red and made it green, but just do it that way, and we're going to drag this onto our dude. And, oh, I want to talk about a piece of software that I started using for the Ludum Dare competition, which is going to solve my texturing problem for this show. I started using this software called Neo Texture Edit. It's an open source software. It's free. The only thing it's really good software. The only thing I'm going to warn is it does not have an undo operation. So keep that in mind right from the start. So I'm going to open it up here. Just search for Neo Texture Edit online. I may put the link in. neotextureedit.sourceforge.net. All right, that's the address. So what this is basically it's a graph-based seamless texture generator, and so you can basically put in inputs. So like you can do a Perlin noise pattern, and then you can apply OpenGL says diffuse, and you'll see a little textured preview of what your texture will look like. And so you can tweak the noise settings, and you can change the scalings, and then you can also apply filters and blend things. Like you could have Perlin noise, and then maybe another type of noise or a pattern. Here, let's try a checker pattern, and you can blend the two. And that didn't. Oh yeah, because it actually OpenGL says diffuse. So I guess the opacity determines the blending, so you can blend the two together. And then there's also stuff like, and I don't know how all of these actually work, but there's like emboss filters, and there's warps. Here, let's do a warp here.
That's pretty cool.
So let's try a warp pattern just to see how this works. So strength, I don't know what this. Oh wait, we're not seeing the preview here. So X, we want. OpenGL says diffuse. Okay, so that's not a really good example there. It's doing something. Yeah. I think it's using an edge type thing. It's probably like emboss, actually, with that regardless. It says diffuse. Oh, I couldn't set that because it's not complete yet. Okay, so emboss is another edge detection thing. Actually, probably doing the opposite would have been better. Let's try this one on the left and this one on the right. Yeah, so that's kind of, you get kind of a grain texture to it. So I'm going to just go ahead and export this as a 256 by 256 so that we have a texture for our floor. It's not a good looking texture. I just wanted to get something going there.
Texture.
We might play around with this more, but this isn't cooking with Neo Texture Edit. It's cooking with Unity, so
it could be cooking with Neo Texture Edit.
Yeah. We may explore this space
more.
Like
cooking with Unity with a dash of Neo Texture Edit.
Yeah, exactly. With a dash of Neo Texture Edit. I like that.
That's what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. Floor tile. Crappy floor tile. Right.
Oh, it's not that crappy.
It's enough to let us get our bearings. Was the only intent I had.
That is
true. So
true.
we're just going to throw this in textures. And actually, I may in the future reorganize this because I realized something while I was doing Ludum Dare this weekend. If you drag this in, it automatically creates a material for you. But it creates it in a folder called materials above wherever you had it. So in the future, I may actually make it textures with materials inside there, so at least it matches the auto creation stuff. So I'm going to do, this time, just keep it organized and delete it. And let's actually change the amount of tiling on here to 10 at least.
That makes it easier.
Yeah, now it looks. Let's do 20. There you go.
Oh, I like that.
That kind of looks like a floor tile now. Mint mapping's killing us on this texture, but it's a bad texture. So we could probably clean it up with a little. Let's look at the texture import settings just for fun. So we can probably do some anisotropic filtering to make it a lot better. So you can see already how it cleans up right on the screen. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. It does. You can do it on a per texture basis in Unity, so it's pretty. I usually keep. I'm going to tell you my own experience. If you're doing mobile, you may want to keep it off. But the other thing is, in the quality settings, if you go to project settings, quality, your quality settings can disable anisotropic textures. So by default, it's per texture for like medium level ones. You can force it on, which just means general, which is what most modern PC games do. or rather they have it as an option they don't do it per texture, or you can disable it entirely. So if you do disabled, it shows up immediately there for your selected thing. So on mobile, you're probably going to want to turn it off. If you're on PC, anisotropic filtering is actually I'm going to say cheap. I'm going to say it's cheap. Programmers are going to punch me tomorrow, but that's what it is. It's a cheap operation these days. Like, it's cheap like bilinear filtering is cheap, or was cheap like 10 years ago. And bilinear filtering now, there are people who say it's free, which I know that there's programmers that roll around from that too. But yeah, it's not that expensive an operation, and it really cleans it up. See how much better that looks now when we look in the background. Like, let's actually turn it off right now so that you can see how much of a difference. So if we do disabled, you've got these band themes. You can visibly see bands. Like, I can't move the mouse pointer without screwing up the thing here.
Yes, but there's definitely
there's a banding thing, and if you switch to per texture, it gets our banding basically removed entirely. You just see some basic aliasing problems in the background. But yeah. So, back on track. We're making an enemy and we're going to make him move. So how are we going to achieve this? I think I'm just going to do our standard stuff. I probably should look into the character controller at some point just to see how that works. Although I've heard that it's probably better to use that just for the player. Let's do enemy AI. Actually, let's call it zombie AI, because that will lower people's expectations of what this thing's going to do. Like, we're not going to be doing any pathfinding. We're going to be able to get them stuck behind walls all 9 yards. We don't care about. He's going to move and only pay attention to collision. That's the only thing that he's going to care about. So, what are we going to need? Let's make a speed variable. Public float speed. And why did I capitalize that? And let's give it a default value so that we aren't like, why didn't you move? So, and equals. First code of the day, folks. Sorry. And let's just work with that first. Let's just get moving towards the player. So this is going to be a real simple script at first. What we're going to do is we can probably do this as a one-liner, and I think I'm going to just do that, and I'm going to explain it as we go. So they're going to take their transform.position. We're going to add plus equals. We need to add, he's going to move in the direction of the player a certain amount. So the direction of the player is his position, so transform.position minus my position, which is the player position. So we need to get the player now. So what I'm going to do is in the start function... Yeah, we'll do it in the start function for right now. No, let's just grab it real time, whatever. So we'll do game object. Let's actually do this step first so we have it cached in case we need it later. So we're going to do vector3 player position equals game object dot get find game object with tag player. It's built-in tag. I feel comfortable hard coding built-in tags. That may be a style thing though. If you don't want to hard code anything, you could always just put a string variable up here.
And then you could write it in later.
Exactly.
Saying whatever it is, blah.
And that would help if you wanted an AI to chase something else too. So find game object with tag player. So this is that's not actually the position though. Transform dot position. We're doing a vector3 here. So now we have our player position. So it's going to be transform position minus player position. Player position. It's not.
Why is it not there?
I'm just going to save player. I'm just going to type it. I don't know why it's not there. Minus player position. And that already is a vector3, so we don't need to do dot position or anything. We already got that up here. And so this is our vector towards the player. So now we're going to normalize this. So we're going to put this in parentheses and choose dot normal. You're killing me, Unity. You're killing me.
Just slap a semicolon on there so it gets rid of the red.
Yeah, good call.
No, it
Save.
should compile, and now you should be able to autocomplete.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you. That was excellent.
Yeah, it's just it can't compile
picky
with
sometimes.
some stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
and admittedly, I'm not complaining because
no, this is substantially better than other things.
oh
that I've worked
yes,
on before, so.
yes, we both worked on worse, and I also sometimes do the judgment. Would I do better? I'm like, no. Sensing this stuff would be difficult as all get out. So, transfer position minus player position dot normalize. So we have the normalized vector. So this represents the arrow pointing towards the player, this 1 unit in length. So now we can multiply on our speed, which ironically will not change this arrow in this case because it's going to be multiplied by 1. But we want to do that in case we change the speed later, which we will because 1.0 is too freaking slow even for a zombie. And then we multiply in time dot delta time.
Good old time dot delta time.
And that's actually it. That should make this guy move towards us. So let's go ahead and throw this on the zombie. Did that actually work? Let's find out. Our cube. It did.
It did.
Cool.
All right.
And before we do... So what else do we need here?
Well, let's see if it even works first.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of funny how he operates right now. But let me just make sure that this is tagged as the player, though. All right, so that's not tagged as player.
It's not.
That's not tagged. Nothing's tagged as player. So I'm going to tag this whole first-person controller as player. And I'm going to go ahead and apply it to our prefab too. So we hit play, and okay, I had my order of operations exactly
now
opposite
he is
of what
avoiding.
we wanted. He is doing active avoidance, so and flying away. Yeah.
Nonetheless.
So let's fix the avoidance real quick first. So I had the order wrong, evidently. I wanted the player position because that's the goal. I don't know why I thought about it the other way. But if you notice someone going away from you,
switch it around.
Switch it around. Doesn't hurt anyone. You've only lost like 3 seconds to change the sign on things. So there we go. We have our utterly terrifying zombie. And this zombie is terrifying for multiple reasons. He can fly through the air. He tracks us, and he doesn't even rotate towards us. Like, he doesn't care if his back is facing us. He's going to just go towards us and do horrible, horrible things to us.
Well, I mean, what happens when he gets to you? Just keep...
He probably will just bump into us and stop moving. Let's find out. Or he will go right through us.
He's now inside of you.
He's inside of us, yes. Oh, and he's pushing me around. Oh, God, it's horrible. Okay, this is no longer a zombie. This is a gelatinous cube. We're going to fix that.
Jelly cube.
Gelatinous cube, right there. And make him semi-transparent. Why not? Transparent. Diffuse. And throw a...
halfway alpha.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
There we are.
There we go. This is our horrible gelatinous cube. No. Oh, God. Yeah.
And it will even go through a wall, won't it?
Let's find out. It probably will, considering it's going through me, but we'll see. Get me out. No. It's working. It's hard to tell that I'm inside of it because it's not double-sided, but here, come on. Come towards me. Let's see if it goes through our walls.
Yeah, it should.
That we can shoot at. Let's shoot at our walls.
It should go through the...
Yep. Totally went through our walls.
Nothing can stop the giant gelatinous cube. It's like a Slimer cube.
So that's probably due to the fact that we don't have a rigid body on it.
Yeah.
So let's try that first. Let's just see what that changes for our object here. Physics, rigid body.
No, this would actually make it so it doesn't fly through the air as well.
Because it's already got gravity checked right there. So we're going to hit play. And it's on the ground, and it's inching towards us. And let's see if it can get inside of us now. Yeah, it's bumping now. All right. Cool. All right. Doesn't have to be a gelatinous cube anymore, but I'm going to keep it for right now.
Yeah, I like it as the gelatinous cube.
It's fun to have transparent stuff, too. I don't know. I always like transparent stuff.
I do, too.
I like it in the real world,
on
too.
Mobile,
I like transparent plastic, honestly. But
I wish it wasn't so costly on mobile devices.
Yeah, it's sad, actually. It just kills iPhones dead. And it's okay if you have a bunch of transparent things that are not taking a lot of part of the screen, but if you have just one thing that takes up a large chunk of the screen, it eats performance visibly.
It cuts frame rates in half.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So we have our enemy, we have a very basic AI, and we have him now grounded, and he's obeying generally the laws of physics with regards to the walls and stuff.
He shouldn't come through walls now.
Yeah, he should not come through walls.
Moving substantially slower, though.
Is he moving
due to
slower?
The
because
drag
of the friction, you think?
And friction, yeah, I think so.
He shouldn't be paying attention to drag because I'm just adjusting his position. But
Yeah,
he does seem like he's going slower.
Seems like it's slower, though. Let's make sure it doesn't go through walls real fast. It shouldn't, though, because it has a rigid body.
I think it's because he's moving up slightly, because he's moving towards us.
Oh.
I don't know. Let's actually get this test done. Sorry, I almost messed that up.
Yeah, he's not coming through walls anymore.
Yep, he's stuck behind that wall. All right. That'll work for now. Let's cut the... Okay, so he should have no drag. So yeah, I think it's something else. All right, so what are we doing next? Let's make him let's see. Player position, transform that position. Is there a way we can make this so he actually tries to move towards you, but obeying a proper movement vector that's perpendicular to the ground, or this parallel to the ground? We could probably use a cross product. We haven't discussed that on the show yet.
That was as good a time as any.
So let me just think through this real quick. So we have our angle towards the player. We want it to be an angle parallel to the ground. We could do a cross product. We probably don't need it. I'm not going to do that on this episode because I'm unprepared, obviously. So so let's just leave it as is for right now and just bump up his speed. I'm just going to do that in the editor here and make him a 3 zombie as opposed to a 1 zombie.
That should just be blasting towards a...
Okay, that's two. That's the 3 is more zombie than I wanted. Let's just do it. We're doing a 2 zombie. No. Rage zombie is a 5.
A 5.
Yeah. This is how screwed you are. Yeah, that's about right. As fast as you can run is just barely enough.
Yeah. He's gonna follow you off the world if you would let him.
Yeah, probably. Let's find out. No. He falls faster than...
Yes,
because I have a character controller. He's a real physics object. I have a max airspeed velocity, so...
It's pretty amazing.
That was good. I like that. It's good to have fun with games. So yeah, 5 is definitely... 5 is outright, as in the terms of Monty Python. So, wait, sorry. Or right out. Or which one is it? I don't know.
No.
So let's get him rotating towards us so it looks a little bit more like he's attempting to maintain eye contact with our brains. So so we want him to look at our player. This guy doesn't really have a front or a back. We're going to assume that the front is the one facing forward. So so this should just work with a look at. So we're going to do transform.rotation equals quaternion.look rotation, and we give it this exact thing that we did up here. As a matter of fact, just in case we use it later, let's go ahead and cache it, so we don't have to do the math every time. Vector 3 player direction equals, and actually let's do, say, normalized player direction. This will be more useful because the most costly operation, this subtraction is really minor. It costs something, but it's really minor.
It's kind of trivial.
Normalized is actually a costly operation. It's not costly. Like, I'm not saying don't use it. Like, whenever I say something's costly, I don't mean don't use it. Please don't think that. I'm just saying if you're going to be using it a lot in an area, try and minimize it. So in this case, like, if we're going to use it more than once here, we've already saved time by caching it. So
because then it only needs to do the normalization operation
exactly
once.
So now it's just referencing a variable that already has been normalized. So we can just do normalized player direction here, and this should just make him look at us. He'll look at us perfectly, which is kind of creepy. Like, he has no maximum rotation rate. He can just spin around as fast as we can spin around. But it is working. He seems so significantly faster at 2 than he was at 1.
Oh, let's get 1.5.
No, he's... Why was he moving so slow, though?
I
Whoa.
don't know.
That's
Oh, that's
hilarious.
interesting.
He's looking at us no matter what.
It's not ignoring the Z.
Yeah,
or
it's not
the
ignoring the
axis.
Z at all. Okay, so yeah, let's see what we're gonna do here. So let's do 1.5. There was one where I swear he was Dragon Wars.
Yeah, I thought so too, but apparently
Maybe we had touched him or something and like pushed him into the ground or something. Is that what happened?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. All right.
Sometimes that kind of stuff happens.
Yeah, but I like to go over it if
Yeah.
I can. But yeah, it's just gonna be like that. So again, we probably want to do something that makes it so that they look as if they're not looking directly at us. But I'm not going to bother with that just yet. We can do that as cleanup later. So finally, let's make this guy. So we have an enemy, and he can touch us, and he doesn't do anything when he touches us. Let's add behaviors for when he touches us, so that he hurts us, and let's let's make it so we can shoot him. Let's actually do the shooting first. So we already have so we have raycast shoot. That's what we're using for our bullets on this one right now. And we have our raycast test. Oh, that was just making sure that it works. So raycast test just gives I've been shot. So if you want to know if something's shot, it was shot. That's what we made it in our raycast shoot thing. It just sends a was shot message. So we can go in here and just do void was shot. And if we just wanted a simple one-shot kill enemy, we could just do destroy game object. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to put this in a separate script. Just because then we can apply it to whatever we want to later. So, because there's going to be a lot of enemies that we want to destroy on shot or have hit points and stuff. So I'm just going to have destroy on was shot. Probably should just called it shot.
Yeah, it's more
specific.
Mm-hmm.
Destroy on was shot on a sunny day in November.
Why November though?
I don't know. I just was trying to think of more specific things to say about something. So yeah, this one is just destroy on was shot. So we're done. Destroy game object. So if we just attach this to our zombie, which we have not named zombie. I'm going to call it. Yeah, I'm going to call it zombie again.
Zombie cube.
I'm going to call it zombie, and we're going to make it a zombie, a tall zombie again.
Oh.
You don't like cubes?
No, I like the cube.
Or you like the cube?
No, it's fine. I don't care.
Alright. And so now if we shoot at him, he goes away. So it worked. Not very much fanfare with his death, but yeah, it did work. So so we could even do we could have even done probably applied decal on was shot for this guy because he's a cube. Although I would hesitate to show that. It would work, but the thing is he's a cube, so it's really easy. If you have a complex player model, you don't want to use the complex model for your collision, especially if it's exceptionally complex. Especially like you generally want to use like a
capsule.
A capsule. And actually, I can show you. I'm not going to do it on this episode, but I do want to show an optimization you can do for that, which helps a lot. Where basically, what most modern games do. These are the little details that most people don't know is when you shoot at someone in like a game, the player has almost everyone uses the capsule colliders because they approximate really easily what a human looks like. Like they can be long and they also are cheaper than a box collider even. So because it's actually like a distance type check as opposed to anything else. Like a sphere is a basic distance check. That's all it is. It just is like, are you this close to the object because that means you're within a sphere of it. And then a capsule is a slightly modified one, and I forget exactly what the math is on that. And then a cube collider, you have to basically check a few different things to get it. But what games typically do is if you have a game that has like bullet holes on monsters and stuff, they raycast and check against your capsule first, and then they do a secondary raycast with the actual player geometry. And so what that means is it saves them. Basically, the geometry is only used in that case. Like the only time that the geometry is used for collision is for those ray casts. The rest of the time, you're going to be dealing with the capsule collider. So I may go over that. Probably not this episode, but I want to try and do that in the future. So we have the enemy dying, and we're halfway through the episode. So let's make a hit point script for him. I want this guy to take more than one hit. So I'm going to create it as a separate script. Let's call it destroy. Let's see. I'm going to call it hit point manager.
Ooh.
Actually, I rescind that. I'm going to call it HP manager. Because everyone knows what HP is. And anytime that you can get away with using an acronym that actually everyone knows, that's great. So, let's see. We're going to rename this again because I didn't do it the first time. And just HP manager. So, public float HP. And let's actually make it lowercase HP. And let's make it equal to 10 by default.
Happiness percentage.
Happiness percentage, sure, why not? Hero points.
Yep.
So all we're gonna do is so void was shot. So we don't have multiple weapons in our game, so we're gonna have to reorganize this a little bit if we want the weapons to do different amounts of damage. This one we're just gonna assume that our bullets do a base amount of damage, which will be fine for this episode. We'll probably clean this up and do more later. So on was shot, we're going to just do HP minus minus. And then, so that just reduces HP by 1. And then on the next line, we're going to check if HP is less than 0. Actually, let's do less than or equal to 0. Destroy game object. So this is basically the same script, just it delays it by 10. So if we hit play here, we shoot. Oh, wait, he has the old script on him. Zombie. Get rid of the destroy on was shot and add the HP manager, which is not much of a manager yet.
What?
This maybe? That worked.
That was strange.
I swear I could do that before. Maybe I'm crazy. Alright. So I hit play and we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, it worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's throw apply decal while shot while he's a cube anyway. So now when we shoot at him, we haven't set a decal for him. So hold on, zombie. Let's just use apply decal on was shot.
Just use the same decal, right?
What was this test thing? Oh yeah, hold on. I did something that I evidently saved into the file. I didn't mean to save this into the file. So, so decal size 0, we're just going to do the bullet decal, and let's go ahead and do the bullet hit particle as well, just like we did before. So we hit play, and now it's like bam, 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 bam. All right, cool. And let's make it so that there's a death thing too. Let's just go ahead and make it a little. I think I'm in a art polish mood just because of Ludum Dare, honestly, because this is not me. You agree, right? This is strange because normally you'd be like, oh yep, he disappeared. Game's done.
Good deal.
Game's done.
Good deal.
So let's go ahead and add a public game object. Actually, yeah, let's do game object. Gibbs. So we do an array of Gibbs, and so now I'm actually going to create a separate thing here, void die.
Oh.
And we're going to call die here, die, and I'm going to put the destroy in there. And then before we destroy it, we're going to go ahead. We can do it after we destroy it too, but we're just going to go ahead and do it for each. And actually, I'm going to be explicit. I'm going to say rigid body instead of game object, because I want to throw them off into the world, and this will mean that we have direct access to the rigid body when we do the instantiate, as I'll show you in a moment here. So for each rigid body gib in gibs, we are going to rigid body instance equals instantiate gib transform dot position. We're going to change that a little bit in a second here, and let's just do random dot rotation. That's a nice easy one to throw in. Oops, why was I doing that? We want a semicolon there, and then we can do instance dot add explosion force. So I'm going to put some variables up here before we. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to delete this line so I don't mess up autocomplete. So public float explosion radius equals 1.0f. Public float explosion power equals 1.0f. Actually, let's make that one like 100.
More power.
Just make sure that it works. The default values are more just to remind you that it's working, and so you don't get confused and check the wrong things. I mean, and the thing is, the argument always is like, well, if you don't remember to put it here, you could remember it, you could forget it in both places and stuff. The point is, have two levels of error prone.
Yeah. Also, this makes it easier to modify when you're actually trying to do something in the editor versus hard coding it too.
Oh no, certainly want to versus just hard coding it. Yeah, no question. Anything that is gonna want to be tweaked, you're gonna want to do this. As I try to avoid hard coding whenever possible. On my Ludum Dare project, last few hours, there's hard coded stuff in there. Mm-hmm. In the last few hours, it's okay if your project goes a little bit shit. Excuse my French. But I guess I have not fixed up my podcast yet. I need to do that. Public float. What are we doing? Explosion radius, explosion power, and that's.
Oh, I thought that was it. There's just position.
Yeah, position. Yeah, that's right.
And that there's an upwards force variable if you want.
We're not going to worry about that one for right now. So, so we have our instance, and we're actually going to change something here. So if we spawn everything right in the center, it's going to be interpenetrating. So what I like to do is I like to add a random dot inside unit sphere times our explosion radius. Actually, I'm going to do times our explosion radius divided by 2.0f. Or actually, times 0.05. Compilers are supposed to optimize that, but I don't trust them. Multiply is technically a cheaper operation than division, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's true. Instance dot. So we already have a rigid body here, so we just do add explosion force, and we do our explosion power. Transform dot position. This one we don't want to add the random because we want the explosion to come from where the enemy died, and our explosion radius. So sorry, what was I doing there? Explosion radius. And so now let's create some zombie gibs.
I'm assuming they're going to be.
Oh wait, yeah, forgot to do the as rigid body. It's a typecast. What was you going to say?
No, nothing. I was going to be. They were just. I think we should create green. Green gibs.
So we're just gonna. I'm actually gonna just duplicate a zombie. I'm gonna call this. Actually, no, let's not do that. I don't want to have to deal with deleting all the other stuff off of them. Let's make a cube. Let's give it our zombie zombie material, just green. I'm actually going to change the material name to zombie because it's transparent green. We're using it for zombies. I don't know. And cubes are good. I love cubes. So let's just make cubes and let's make them really small. 0.1.
Yeah.
Nah, that's too small. Let's make them chunkier. 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. 0.25. 0.25. Yeah.
How many of these are we going to spawn, though? That's the real question.
That is the real question. I noticed that Unity changed something in their editor that makes it so I no longer feel tempted to make a multiplier variable. Like, I know that you've seen in some of my past episodes, I have an amount, so I can just put 1 in and just say 100. But I'm going to show you something that I'm pretty sure it didn't do this before, because if it did, I wouldn't have bothered. So, we're going to make an instance of this cube here. Oh, wait, we already have something called cube. What is this cube? What is this red cube?
It used to be our bullet marker.
That's right. Red cube. I'm just going to call it that. We're going to rename this to Zombie Gib. Throw it in here. Oh, and we forgot to put a rigid body on, so I'm going to add a rigid body. Because otherwise we're not going to be able to use it in our variable. That's another thing, is if you know that you need a rigid body, it's a way to ensure that whatever you're dragging in has it, because Unity won't even let you drag it in if it doesn't have the required component. So we delete our instantiated one, and now we what are we going to do?
Let's figure out how many of them. And then needs to be put in the script, in the prefab of the zombie, probably.
Yeah, so zombie, HP manager, Gibbs, there we go. So we're going to throw our zombie Gib. I'm going to have to put some more folders in here in a second. And so if you actually change the size, it defaults to filling it out with
wow,
the
it did
thing.
not do that before.
Yeah, so that's super freaking useful. And it's not going to hurt you any if like, I don't think that will upset anyone that they made that change. And that's super useful for us when we just want to have a whole bunch of something. So now when we shoot this guy enough times, this is a very resilient zombie. There we go. Turns into horrible gelatinous zombie cubes, and then we can step on them. They don't do anything. Maybe we'll add a script that flattens out the cubes. I don't know.
Nice.
So yeah, we have our zombie cubes. So 15 minutes left. I may go over because I spent too much time talking about random stuff. So let's do
Monster Closet?
Yeah, Monster Closet. Because I wanted to show off the animation system, as I said earlier. So let's make a room, shall we? Let's go ahead and use this one. I'm going to change the angle here. We're going to just duplicate it. This is going to be a nice claustrophobic room. Actually, let's make it longer first. So let's just delete this duplicate we just made. And let's make it more bigger. Alright, so there we go. That's going to be a good long room. And then we're going to duplicate it and rotate it 90 degrees. And it's okay if it overlaps a little bit. It's probably not okay that it goes outside the level, but we can fix that by just moving everything. Because it's obviously not too big on one side. So I'm just shift clicking and then doing that. Nope,
And
too
now
far.
it's too far.
There you go, some happy medium. And then we go ahead and duplicate this, and I'm just going to say get rid of the negative on here, and then I'm going to duplicate this and get rid of add a negative here. I'm not even going to clean up the numbers.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. So we hit play, we have walls, we can shoot at our walls, and they take bullets. Actually, let's add that to our floor too while we're at it. So this is going to be called floor, and let's go ahead and add our apply decal on what's shot, and throw our bullet decal and bullet hit particle. So now everything takes bullet holes. So we actually feel like we're shooting things. Should probably add some sound or something, but
Pew pew pew.
Pew 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 pew.
So, do those
the bullet holes
offset
have
the
collision.
raycast? Yeah,
They have
I
collision.
was just
Hold on.
thinking about that.
Thank you for reminding me.
So I was like, why are
Yeah, because I definitely clicked more than 8 times. You
yeah,
noticed.
this is something that you definitely have to worry about.
Yeah, so bullet decals really have no reason in the lives to have a box collider. I'm just going to remove this component, and that should solve our problem. Bullet hit particle doesn't have a collider, right? Okay, so
yeah, so that raycast
now
was hitting the decal.
if we hit the decal multiple times, it will be putting them on top of themselves, but which means, you know, rendering more things than you want to. But we should be fine, like on draw calls and stuff like that. These should batch no problem.
Which they are.
Which they are,
you can
yeah.
see, you still have 6 draw calls, even though there's so many different bullets.
Yes. 7 draw calls when it's on him for some reason.
It's probably because it's on a transparent. No, that shouldn't make a difference.
I don't know why. And luckily we parent the bullet holes to the enemy, which we fixed in the last episode. You caught that. We would have caught that this one, definitely.
Yeah, because
though.
they would have just been floating
in
the air. Yeah.
So, alright, so what are we doing now? Let's just quickly reorganize this while I'm getting my brain organized.
We're making a little closet
Yes.
for that monster.
So, new folder. This is scripts. And let's create a prefab folder as well. Prefabs. And drag it out here and throw our stuff into it. So, closet. Let's create a
Just create like a
little
side room or
alcove,
something. Yeah.
So we're going to create a new cube. Actually, I'm going to create one of these again. Duplicate, drag it out. I'm going to make it smaller. Let's do 10. And let's just duplicate this a couple times. It's really more than it needs to be, actually. Let's delete. Oops. I don't know what I thought I'd already duplicated it. I guess I had not. So let's make it like 5. Let's make it real tight monster closet. And I'm just going to call this monster closet, and we're going to go ahead and create another one here that's a unit away or so. Here, let's make it accurate. 20. Whoops. What did we say? 5? 17.5. That's not right.
Remember, it's a tiny closet.
Alright, yeah, that'll do it. And then let's just duplicate these walls again, rotate not 90 degrees, I guess it was already rotated, and throw this in somewhere in the middle. And duplicate again. Alright, so
And that gets the idea across.
yeah. Actually, I changed my mind. I want these to be prefab, so I'm going to prefab one of them. Delete these. Actually, undo that. I want to show you a feature I found in Unity that I'm very happy exists now. This is new. This is a Unity 4 feature, so if you're using an earlier version of Unity, don't upgrade if you're in the middle of a project, just leave it, but when you upgrade, this will be helpful. So we can add our monster closet piece here. So we can grab one of these that's not our prefab, and we can go into here and choose copy component, and then we can delete this thing. I think it'll work if we delete it. Let's just try it. And then we can click on this one and go in here and do paste component values, and there it goes.
Oh, wow.
And that is something that has been missing for a long time. There were a couple scripts you could get on the store that fixed it, but so we can just basically go through that copy component, delete this guy, throw our monster closet in, and go back in here and paste component values. Finally, do it one more time. The reason I want to do it as a prefab is because okay, one of these. So is because we're gonna basically be putting an animation on it, and I want the animation to work on all of them.
Oh, good idea.
So so let's see what we got. We're gonna animate these, and we're just going to we're gonna put our little zombie inside here. No, I don't want to go in the box. All right. I mean brains. So, we're going to create an animation for these things. So, the animation editor, I had never really played with it before. Super easy to use. Pretty decent. Has a few little caveats I ran into, but it wasn't a big deal. So, we're going to open up this window called Animation. If we go to Animation, it brings up this nice little window interface, and it is a tab like any other window in here, so we can dock it somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and dock it in the corner here. It does make the working space a little bit short, but we're not making anything super complex here, so it's not going to matter. If you're doing more complex stuff, you could dock it like bottom or something, so you get more of a timeline view. But I don't want to take that much space on the screen, especially considering animation is in the art department, and that means that you're not going to see it on the show as much as other stuff. So. So now we can just click our monster closet. Window layouts are invalid. I'm going to just clear that. I think that was while I was doing something in the middle of moving the windows. So, monster closet. So we're going to go to our monster closet. No, we're going to do one of the ones that's in the world. So we go here and we can do record. And it says it needs an animation component. This will break the prefab connection. Okay, cancel. We're going to go to Monster Closet and add that first. So add animation. Where is it? Miscellaneous? Animation. There we go. And then we're going to hit record on one of these. And we're going to call the animation move up. So we're just going to, where you're hitting record, we just go to the transposition.z, which is kind of an awkward position, right? Yeah, whatever. Position, no, not
That's
Z, position.y, thank you. So we're going to hit enter on this, and that'll create a keyframe, and we'll just make this take 2 seconds to open. And then we can just drag this where we want it, and you'll see that in real time it actually updates this graph. We're zoomed way out. Let me change that. This interface is a little weird, but it does work. I wish there was just kind of a zoom in button, but you kind of have to jank it around a little bit. So we don't need to move it that high nearly. As a matter of fact, we can edit in the editor here how high we want it. So that looks good. And yeah, so now if we hit play on this, it will animate up. And actually, if we stop recording and hit play in the world, we'll see that it just starts moving up. No, it doesn't. Why didn't it start moving up? What did I do wrong? Do I have to do anything to save it, or does it not have the animation on it? Move up.
Play automatically.
Play automatically. Always animate. I hit play. And it's not animating. Strange.
Very.
Huh. Animation none. Oh, here's the problem. It added it to the animations, but it didn't add it to the default one, I guess.
That would make sense. Doesn't make sense why it happened.
There. Okay, it animated now. Okay.
Made sense why it was a problem.
I don't know why I didn't add it to the default animation.
Don't know.
It does that automatically. This is the first time I've done it with a prefab, so we're going to apply this to the prefab, and hopefully that means that the whole thing will open up now. And it did. Actually, oh.
All of them.
That's unfortunate.
That's weird.
It's not that weird, actually. Because this has this position information. So I was really excited about this, too.
Can you have it ignore the...
If I do delete curves here, it deletes like all three, I'm fairly certain. I'm going to do it just to see. Yep,
yes,
totally does. Undo.
And you can't just turn off one of them?
Alright, it's Google time. Google. How do I animate only one component of transform unity? Plane animation local to position unity. That sounds pretty good. Oh, there's the answer. This is actually probably the best practice for this. So let's go back in here, and what we're going to do is, we haven't lost any work here really. We are going to, so we already have our animation here. I'm just going to delete all of these. Oh wait, yeah, no, this will work. We can just put this in a parent object. Is that right? Okay, okay, we are going to have to redo this a little bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this animation. And I'm going to go ahead and let's just pick one of these and put it in a game object. So we're going to do component, game object, create empty. It's going to be called monster closet to really confuse us. And we're going to grab one of these monster closets and put it inside. We're going to go into the monster closet and we're going to set it to 0, 0, 0. And then finally, we are going to call this monster closet geometry. And we're going to create a prefab of this. And then we're going to delete the old one. Delete. Rename this just monster closet, and these ones have broken their prefab connections. So let's do the same thing that we did before. I feel like we're doing boring stuff on this episode now, but whatever.
It's okay. It's good to know.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to do boring stuff. So copy component, and we paste component. Right.
Due to the scaling.
Right.
Unfortunately, it looks like you might have to just redo all the...
Yeah, okay, whatever. We're just going to redo it all.
the closet.
Where do I want the scaling? I want the scaling on the... Yeah, well, let's do the scaling on the... No, let's do the scaling on the geometry. That's appropriate. Wait.
I would completely agree doing the scaling on the geometry is completely appropriate.
Alright, yeah, let's just make our box somewhere else. So we got that, We're going to duplicate it again. We're going to delete all these stupid things.
But you'd want to apply rotation, of course, to the parent.
I move this thing instead of the parent. Hold on. 0, 0. Let's make it all 0. Actually, I want to... Okay, let's just do 0, 0, 0 real quick. And I'm going to apply this to the prefab. Just so that... so we got 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Looking good. All right.
All right.
So let's move this up 2.5, was it? Yes. And we only want to worry about the parent. We don't want to worry about the... So I'm actually going to collapse it just so I don't make that mistake. And I'm just going to go ahead and delete these ones and recreate it from this one just in case there was any other bonus information that I didn't want to deal with. So we're just going to duplicate again, rotate, move... Close enough for government work, and but not close enough for me. And duplicate again, and bam. All right. So
and
now,
a new monster closet, better than ever.
Wait, no, it's not. Somehow I duplicated that child as opposed to. Oh, it's because I clicked on it here, which will sometimes give. Oh, if you double click it, it gives you the child.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of useful, honestly. Duplicate and move. So now we are set up properly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to create the animation in the geometry. And so now it's going to be a relative animation rather than a positioned in the world animation. So we are going to just do the same thing we did before. We're going to hit record. We're going to call it monster closet.anim. And we have our position Y, and now it's 0. That's nice. So you hit enter. Wait, why is the position... What is this? Where did that come from?
It's...
No. Where did that come from?
I have no idea.
Yeah. It was my last move. I somehow grabbed it on that last stupid little move. So let's just double check. All of these should be 0. They're not.
Was it something that was applied to the prefab?
I just moved it again. I don't think so. I think 2 of these are going to look right. I really do. Yep, that one looks right. I called it. Yeah, it was just I moved one of them at one point. So keep that in mind. You want everything just kind of locked in at 0 for that. So now we can do our animation file. So let's click on one of these things, and we're going to what is it called? Oh, I want to clean this up. I don't even know what this list is for anyway.
I remember the animations missing there as well.
Well, yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Monster Closet. And now we have our thing here. We hit record. We have it here. We move it to 2 seconds. We change the value. You can also just change the value here if you want. So I can just do like 5. There we go.
Perfect.
That's actually exactly what we want. Although, wait, is it? What happened there? Whoa!
That's
what the heck?
Odd. So it's moving over to the side.
What did it do?
I do not know.
Alright. We're doing it again. I did mention earlier in the episode that it is a little testy. I didn't realize it was this testy, so...
I think it was because you were modifying it while staying
yeah, I think so. I think that
file.
was the problem. So we're going to do this again. Closet. The variable names will get shorter as the night goes on.
MC Lozit.
Yes, MC Lozit. I like it. I like it. All right,
Like
so
a rapper from the
enter, and then we go over. I think it was just because I moved it. Yeah, just like Phil said. Seems like the likely culprit. And then we do 5. Oh, that was really cool curve. I need to figure out how to do that intentionally in the future. So, oh wait,
it's not in the animation list. And there's one that says element 0 none for some reason.
Go ahead and clean that up too. Closet.
Just change the size to 1.
Yeah, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to go ahead and apply this to the prefab. And so now we hit play.
Theoretically, all of them should move
and
up.
all of them moved up. Amazing.
All right.
Where did our zombie go? There he is. All right, let's put our zombie in his little zombie hole. Get in your hole. To use a completely dated and horrible movie reference. But
Would you like to be in your home?
The sad part is I don't even I haven't even seen that movie.
Yeah.
I still need to see it. But I guess I don't need to see it.
No, you don't need to see it.
So we have the monster in his closet. So now let's make it so that the monster closet doesn't automatically animate. We've proven that it's working. Let's go in here and disable the play automatically, hit apply on the prefab, and we should have a closet with a monster in it that does not move. Perfect. This is exactly what we want.
And the monster's in there.
So
he's contained.
The monster is contained, and we're running over, and I apologize for that, but that'll be fine. This will be pretty quick what we're going to do next. We are going to create basically a little hotbox type thing that will trigger the walls to open up, and we're just going to put it around this thing. So I'm going to create a I'm just going to create a cube because it already has what we need in it. Though we're going to remove the renderer on it. So we're just going to get rid of the cube mesh filter, remove component, and the mesh renderer, remove component.
That's just a box collider.
So this is now just a magic box collider. I guess we could have just created an empty game object, but I just like having it there. So we're going to resize this thing to 10 by 10 by 10. Why not? Now we're just going to put it around our thingy here. And we're going to create and we're going to change the collider's properties slightly. So first of all, this is going to be called our monster closet trigger. We're going to change it to a trigger. And the reason we're doing that is triggers don't have collision. They won't collide with a rigid body in the way that you like. They don't perform a physical collision with it. So you can walk into it as if it's air. But they provide a trigger on trigger enter and on trigger exit messages that you can then check. So we're going to create a new C# script called play animation on trigger enter. And all we're going to do is void on trigger enter. We're going to need our variable here, so public game object array objects to animate, and on trigger enter for each. Oh wait, we don't want it to be on trigger enter. We need to actually check to see if it's the player. So let's make it generic. Public string valid string array valid tags. We're making something that's useful in a general sense. So on trigger enter for each. Wait, so where?
Goodness.
Okay, it came back.
Oh.
Everything's
All right.
fine.
All right.
Everything's fine. The mouse pointer came back.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining.
All right.
All right. So collision. No, sorry. Triggers return a collider, not a collision, because there was no actual collision. So collider call. You don't want to call it collider because there's a built-in collider, and that'll hide that. So for each string tag in valid tags, if tag equals call.tag, then we do for each game object in. Actually, let's make it an animation for the same reason that we did it before. Yeah, so that way we'll know that the object will have to have an animation for you to attach it. So for each animation, animation anim, let's do anim whatever, and
Again, objects to animate.
Thank you. We are going to just do anim.play with a capital. I confused it by completing the word. I hate when I do that sometimes. I type it all out. I'm like, oh, it was totally going to fix it for me, and then I screwed myself up.
Yep, that happens.
So we got this. We're going to throw this on our monster closet trigger. Our monster closet trigger is then going to need a valid tag. We're going to throw player in here. And then objects to animate, we're just going to grab. Now we're going to need to grab. If we try to grab the parent, it will not actually. Wait. Yeah, it won't work. Wait, did I grab? Yeah, I did. It just looked like it selected something else. So you have to grab the child, and I just messed it up. So monster closet trigger, grab the child, throw it in objects to animate, and do that for each of them.
Now, if you only wanted to open one side or maybe two sides or three sides, like if you just put it there,
you could just easily adjust
then
that.
It would just be, you'd only drag the first three.
So when we go into it, boom, it opened up and we have a horrible monster chasing us. No! Kill with fire! And it's dead. And that's the end of our episode.
Wow.
So that was exciting.
Got to learn about animations.
Got to learn about animations. We got to learn about how to make triggers and stuff. And pretty good content in this one. And we learned about a new texture program. So thank you for joining us tonight. If you want to contact me with any questions, comments, concerns, things that don't start with a C, please email me at pushypixels@pushypixels.com, and my Twitter is @dracfire.
And you can contact me, Philip at protosoftworks.com if you have email. And if you have the Twitter, you can just do @magmalemur.
and oh yeah, promotions. Buy Phil's game automation is still on the App Store. It's still awesome. And check out his Ludum Dare entry. I'm going to put a little link to that on the bottom too.
You should also buy Proton Pulse, or just download the free version. Get Proton Pulse. It supports the show. It's a really fun little game, and if you haven't played it, you really should. And also check out Max's Ludum Dare as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, his one is called, what's yours?
Missile Bombardment.
And mine's Like a Boss. Anyway, thank you very much, and good night.
Have a good night, and stay warm.
Yes, stay warm out there. It's cold here.
And buy our game.
And stay warm. And that's the wrong button.